Intel Rocket Lake has a multi-chip module of 14 nanometers core and 10 nanometers Uncore dies. VLSI engineer and industry analyst, Edki Akukla, who goes by retired engineer on Twitter, was among the very first voices that spoke about 3rd-gen Ryzen socket AM4 processors being multi-chip modules of core and Uncore dies built on different silicon fabrication processes, which was an unbelievable theory at the time. He now has a fantastic theory of what Rocket Lake S could look like, dating back to November 2019, which is now resurfacing on tech communities. Apparently, Intel is designing these socket GAT 1200 processors to be multi-chip modules, similar to Matisse in some ways, but different in others. Apparently, Rocket Lake S is a multi-chip module of a 14 nanometers die that holds the CPU cores, and 10 nanometers die that holds the Uncore components. AMD Matisse and Vermeer 2 have such a division of labor, but the CPU cores are located on dies with a more advanced silicon fabrication process, 7 nanometers, than the die with the Uncore components, 12 nanometers. The 14 nanometer CPU die on Rocket Lake S holds Willow Cove CPU cores that are purported to introduce significant IPC gains over Skylake. In this die, there are CPU cores and a reduced functionality system agent, which are bound together by a ring bus interconnect. This system agent talks to its counterpart on the Uncore die, aka GPU die, over AMIB interconnect. The 10 nanometers GPU die, aka Uncore die, features the processor's Gen 12 ZIGBU with up to 96 execution units, a dual-channel DDR4 memory controller, and a PCI Express 4.0 root complex, besides other minor components related to the IGBU, such as its display and media engines. Unlike every past Intel mainstream desktop generation since Linfield, the Rocket Lake S MCM puts out a total of 24 PCI Express lanes. 16 of these are assigned as PEG, PCI Express graphics, or the main PCI Express X16 slot on the platform, and 8 lanes are assigned as chipset bus. In past microarchitectures, including Comet Lake S, the processor only put out 20 lanes, 16 of which are toward PEG, and 4 toward the chipset bus, DMI. This won't be the first time that Intel took the MCM approach in its mainstream desktop processors. The first generation Clarkdale desktop processor in the LGA 1156 package was an MCM of a 32 nanometers CPU die, and a 45 nanometers Uncore die, which contained the IGBU. Why Intel chose to give the IGBU, rather than the CPU cores, the advantage of the more advanced silicon fabrication process is a mystery that will only be solved after launch. Perhaps it's simply not possible to build a Gen 12 IGBU on 14 nanometers, while the efficiency of Willow Cove CPU cores, originally designed for 10 nanometers plus, can survive a backport to 14 nanometers better. Willow Cove cores make their debut with the Tiger Lake U mobile processors,